Your Excellencies, Your Eminence, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, tonight we come together to celebrate the founding of modern Greece, following the revolution of 1821, not as Greek Americans, but as a community that remembers its past and with the experiences of the past, and most importantly, with its friends, moves on inspired by this friendship, confirming this friendship with our sister communities in Western Pennsylvania. Following the French and American revolutions, the Holy Alliance and the Ottoman Empire experienced an earthquake, whose seismic waves were the voices of the people aspiring for freedom. These waves caused significant fears inside the empires that led to suppression of freedom of speech in certain areas and proactive measures to squelch as much as possible the sentiment for liberty. For the Greeks, Rigas Phereos, one of Greece's leaders of the Enlightenment, was captured by Austrians for fomenting rebellion and handed over to the Ottomans, whose agents murdered him. The seismic waves of liberty were gaining strength and frequency, and eventually the two empires collapsed. The Greek Revolution was one of a number of rebellions that refashioned the map and politics of Europe. Despite the valiant campaigns waged by the Greeks, the Greek Revolution by 1827 was at best at a stalemate, and at worst, in alarming peril, consequent to the intervention of Ibrahim Pasha. A strong undercurrent of Philhellenism in France, Great Britain, and Russia offered moral, political, and even material support between the late 17th century until 1827 to the Greek revolutionaries. It would take a decisive naval battle in the Bay of Navarino in the southwestern Peloponnese to stop Ibrahim and the Ottomans from strangling the revolution once and for all. The naval battle was a result of an ultimatum given to Ibrahim and the Ottomans by the three powers, France, Great Britain, and Russia, who by that time had concluded that a free Greece was in the interests of the region, their alliance, and Europe. This resulted in a number of treaties among the three powers that recognized a free Greece and established Greece's initial borders. The first of these treaties was signed in 1827, and the last one was signed in 1832, which affirmed the previous ones and gave the final official recognition. These treaties are collectively referred to as the London Protocols. These protocols brought an end to persecution and decay and gave life through a resurrection. The chained, persecuted, and terrorized Prometheus was finally resurrected. The assistance provided by the three powers during the revolution, as well as in the establishment of the first Greek nation, is what we assemble tonight to commemorate and celebrate. France, Great Britain, and Russia have been and continue to be friends of Greece at all levels. Our Greek-American community decided to crown the March bicentennial celebrations by recognizing and celebrating our friendship and strong fraternal bonds with the people of France, the United Kingdom, and the Russian Federation through this event that honors the French-American, British-American, and Russian-American people in Western Pennsylvania, represented through their nationality rooms at the University of Pittsburgh. In recognition of the importance of the bicentennial celebrations, but more importantly, our common values and virtues, and our common friendship, we invited distinguished guests to offer their greetings and inspirational thoughts. Tonight, we are very fortunate to welcome these guests. Her Excellency, Mrs. Yana Angelopoulos Daskalaki, the President of the Greece 2021 Committee of the Greek State, Their Excellencies, the Ambassadors of the French Republic, Her Majesty and the United Kingdom, the Russian Federation, and the Hellenic Republic. We also welcome His Eminence Archbishop Elpidophoros of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America. March was designated as bicentennial of the Greek Revolution and the friendship between America and Greece in proclamations by the county executive of Allegheny County, Mr. Richard Fitzgerald, and the mayor of the city of Pittsburgh, Mr. William Peduto, and we are honored to welcome them tonight. We also welcome the mayor of the municipality of Peania, Attica, Greece, who graciously, together with the municipal council, offered the municipality's Medal of Honor to the University of Pittsburgh's Chancellor, Dr. Gallagher, and the Nationality Rooms program, and for nurturing this event and the friendships among the French, English, Russian, and Greek nationality rooms. The friendship among our communities tonight will be expressed in inspiring poem, music, and song that brings to light historical appreciations for Greece, presented by very gifted and talented artists. Finally, following an inspiring and human, from the heart, testimony about the essence of being Greek in America, presented by one of the oldest representatives and servants of the Greek American community of Western Pennsylvania, the Protopresbyter Reverend Father Sarando Serviu, the Greek American community of Western Pennsylvania will recognize, thank, and celebrate our French, British, and Russian sister communities through their nationality rooms in the form of a commemorative award. We will then, together with our colleagues in Greece, including the municipality of Peania, recognize and thank the University of Pittsburgh, the University Center for International Studies, and the Nationality Rooms program in the form of the municipality's Medal of Honor to Chancellor Dr. Gallagher and Dr. Armoni, and an award to Mrs. Christina Lagnesi. Many people here and in Greece came together over the past 6 months to make this event possible. We hope that you will visit the celebration's website and download tonight's commemorative album, which presents the program, the names of all our special collaborators and participants in tonight's celebration, and the history behind the London protocols, as well as the actual protocols text. At this time, I would like to invite our distinguished invitees into the forum.
Dear compatriots, dear friends, Philimas, thank you for the kind invitation to your event to honor together the anniversary of 200 years after the Greek Revolution. And at the same time, we will also honor the enduring bonds of friendship we maintain with the United States of America, thanks to all of you, the remarkable Greek diaspora. Indeed, the Greek diaspora truly deserves to be congratulated. Its members made the most of the opportunity for a better life given to them in America, and they were able to achieve greatness. A member of the Greek diaspora stands out in every field, in science, entrepreneurship, culture, everywhere. You deserve to be praised for honoring Greece, the Greek language, and the Greek Orthodox faith. You respect your values and impart them to your children. Erasing a piece of the past is as if you are erasing an equal piece from the future, was said by our Nobel Prize recipient, poet Yorgos Seferis. We, the Greece 2021 committee members, were moved to realize that you, too, are guided by the reality of Seferis' words. You actually prove it with your project, Bridges of White and Blue. This particular project identifies the unknown heroes, the fighters of the diaspora, people like Basiotis and Antonopoulos, the first Greek immigrants to arrive in Pittsburgh, to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in 1890. They worked hard and excelled in entrepreneurship and culture. The same can be said about Lucas, Lucius, and Miller, the first Greek U.S. representative in the American Congress, whose seat, the Capitol, was painted by another Greek, Constantinos Broumidis. Miller, Broumidis, Basiotis, and Antonopoulos went down in history. They laid the foundations for Greek-American relations, which became stronger thanks to the American people's passionate phil-Hellenic sentiments during the formative years of the Greek Revolution. The Greece 2021 Committee, honoring the Greek diaspora, set 3 strategic goals in conveying the contemporary meaning of the anniversary to Greeks all over the world: universality, participation, and collaboration. Universality. Because members of the Greek diaspora exist all over the world, and we ought to be in continuous communication with them. Participation. Because our national history belongs to us all, and we want the actions and events for the 200 years to be the task and heritage of all Greek people. Collaboration. Because in the novel world that is being shaped, no one can walk alone. All 3 of our strategic goals have been accomplished successfully. We have received proposals for actions and events in 47 countries with Greek presence. Some proposals honor history. Others, with research and technology as the medium, invest in the future. And then there are those proposals that bridge past, present, and future. Your project, which we have placed under our auspices and included in the National Program of Actions and Events, is one of these proposals. In fact, we have already announced it on our website, and we are looking forward to the results of your research concerning our ancestry and common heritage. Now, I wish to bring you up to date on the progress of our numismatic program. The modern Greek state's celebrated 200-year-long history is imprinted on the 14 silver collector's coins of the committee's numismatic program. They include the first 2 coins of the Greek state, silver coins that depict our country's expansions to its current borders, and gold coins depicting the Greek people's national symbol, our flag's evolution from the revolution to the present day. It is a commemorative collection with great sentimental and symbolic value, which enables Greek women and men to contribute to the realization of even more anniversary actions and events. As the proceeds for the sale of this unique collection will be invested in anniversary projects worldwide, we will be effectively investing in our collective future. Dear friends, I would like to thank the Greek Room Committee of the Nationality Rooms Program at the University of Pittsburgh and the American Hellenic Foundation of Western Pennsylvania for the project and their participation in the celebration of our national anniversary. I also like to thank Mrs. Venetia Moreno, Mrs. Maria Cristina Lagnese, Mr. Evangelis Andreou, and last but not least, Phile, Nico Yannoukaki. We, the entire Greece 2021 committee, thank you wholeheartedly, because by bringing your ancestors, the unknown heroes, to the spotlight, you bring your children closer to their roots and teach history to us all.
Προσφυλέστατε κύριε Γιαννουκάκη και αγαπητοί συμπατριώτες της Δυτικής Πενσιλβάνιας. 2 αιώνες συμπληρώνονται εφέτος από την ιστορική απόφαση των Ελλήνων να επαναστατήσουν κατά των αλλοεθνών και αλλόθρησκων κατακτητών τους και να θράψουν τις αλυσίδες με τις οποίες τους έσυραν δέσμιους επί 400 και πλέον χρόνια. Χρονολογία σημαντική, με πολλές ιστορικές παραμέτρους, τις οποίες πρέπει να μελετήσουμε σοβαρά, χωρίς παροπίδες ή ανιστόρητες μονομερείς τοποθετήσεις, να εκτιμήσουμε την αξία του τολμήματος και το μεγαλείο του επιτεύγματος της Επαναστάσεως του 21 και να αποφασίσουμε για το μέλλον μας. Η Επανάσταση του 1821 δεν υπήρξε τυχαίο γεγονός από εκείνα τα πολυάριθμα που καλύπτουν γενικά τις δέλτους της ιστορίας των εθνών, αλλά προήλθε από την αγωνία και τα μαρτύρια που υπέστησαν οι πρόγονοί μας και την απόφαση να ξεσηκωθούν, προκειμένου να απαλλάξουν το έθνος από τον δεσμότη, ώστε να ζούμε εμείς σήμερα ελεύθεροι και ανεξάρτητοι. Η Επανάσταση του 1821 δεν υπήρξε τυχαίο γεγονός, αλλά αποτέλεσμα μακράς σειράς ετών υπομονής, αλλά και εκατόμβης νεκρών, ταυτόχρονα όμως και δικαίωση της υπομονής και των στεναγμών από τον ιερό αγώνα για την πίστη στο Χριστό και την αγάπη στην πατρίδα, από τα κατορθώματα σε στεριά και θάλασσα. Η Επανάσταση του 1821 δεν υπήρξε τυχαίο γεγονός, αλλά πραγμάτωση ονείρου και μιας απόφασης των αγωνιστών του 1821 να αναδειχθούν άξιοι απόγονοι του Ομήρου, απόγονοι του Πλάτωνα, του Πυθαγόρα και του μοναδικού στην οικουμένη ανά τους αιώνες Μεγάλου Αλεξάνδρου και όλων εκείνων των ανεπανάληπτων στην οικουμένη προγόνων τους, που προσέφεραν τα φώτα του πολιτισμού στην ανθρωπότητα. Ήταν κατόρθωμα των Ελλήνων που θεωρούσαν δικαίωμά τους να ελευθερώσουν την πατρίδα τους και να διαλαλήσουν στην ανθρωπότητα την ταύτισή τους με όλα τα πολιτισμένα κράτη της Ευρώπης και της Αμερικής. Η Επανάσταση του 1821 δεν υπήρξε τυχαίο γεγονός, αλλά απόφαση βγαλμένη μέσα από την ψυχή του λαού. Απόφαση που τραγουδήθηκε από στόμα σε στόμα με τα δημοτικά τραγούδια, που διαλαλώνουν ακόμα τα κατορθώματα και τις τραγωδίες των πολεμιστών του 1821, των ανδρών και γυναικών που αγωνίστηκαν στεναρά και θυσίασαν τα πάντα χωρίς δισταγμό. Το δημοτικό τραγούδι, καθώς τραγουδιόταν από ράχη σε ράχη και από κορφή σε κορφή και απλωνόταν απ' άκρη σ' άκρη του σκλαβωμένου τόπου, συντηρούσε την ιστορική συνείδηση, συντηρούσε την ομοψυχία, την ενότητα, την ευγένεια των αισθημάτων. Γινόταν μαντατοφόρος χωρίς προκαταλήψεις και σκοπιμότητες. Ήταν το ενημερωτικό μέσον εκείνης της εποχής που διαπνεόταν από τον εθνικό παλμό και την εθνική συνέχεια. Διαπνεόταν από την εθνική, την ελληνική συνείδηση και μνήμη. Μνήμη την οποία υπενθύμιζε για να εγκαρδιώνει τους αγωνιστές και να παραδειγματίζει τους αδύνατους. Εμείς οι Ορθόδοξοι Έλληνες είμαστε υπερήφανοι κληρονόμοι τεράστιας περιουσίας. Περιουσία στην οποία συνιστούν η ιστορία, η πίστη μας στο Χριστό, η γλώσσα μας και η έννοια της ενότητας του έθνους μας όπου και αν βρισκόμαστε. Η ιστορική μας μνήμη, η ικανότητα του νου να συγκρατεί γεγονότα, παραστάσεις, εμπειρίες, διηγήσεις που ανάγονται στο παρελθόν, όπως το αστήρευτο και μεγαλειώδες και ανεπανάληπτο το οποίο διαθέτει το ελληνικό έθνος. Το έθνος μας οφείλουμε πάντοτε να διατηρούμε πλήρη ζωής. Το έθνος ως έννοια, το έθνος ως ιδέα, ως βίωμα, ως ζωντανή πραγματικότητα είναι πρωταρχικός παράγοντας της κοινωνικής και διεθνούς εξέλιξης. Λαοί χωρίς ιστορική μνήμη είναι καταδικασμένοι να χαθούν στην ιστορία. Το ελληνικό έθνος απέδειξε εδώ και 200 χρόνια ότι έχει και τη θέληση και το σθένος να παλέψει. Να παλέψει για να ζήσει στους αιώνες. Θα ζήσει. Θα ζήσει αν όλοι πιστέψουμε και το έχουμε διαρκώς στην ψυχή μας. Γι' αυτό όλοι οι Έλληνες, όπου γης, ας φροντίσουμε με θέρμη και ενθουσιασμό να μάθουμε και τα παιδιά μας με λόγια απλά, ειλικρινά, χωρίς στρεβλώσεις και υπερβολές. Η πατρίδα μας είναι μεγάλη. Να μάθουμε, επαναλαμβάνω, τα παιδιά μας να αγαπήσουν την Ελλάδα και να την κλείσουν στην καρδιά τους. Τότε και η ευχή «Ζήτω η Ελλάς» που εκφωνούμε πάντοτε, τότε και αυτή η ευχή θα έχει ουσιαστικό νόημα. Κλείνοντας, θέλω να ευχαριστήσω και πάλι τον κύριο Γιαννουκάκη για την πρόσκλησή του και θέλω να συγχαρώ αυτόν και όλους σας για τον εορτασμό των 200 ετών από την Επανάσταση του έθνους μας.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, let me begin by thanking the Nationality Rooms program at the University of Pittsburgh for this kind invitation on the occasion of the bicentennial of Greek independence. I am honored to be with you tonight to mark 200 years of friendship between France and Greece, a friendship built upon ideas, principles and concepts articulated by ancient Greek philosophers, which were then appropriated by the thinkers of the Enlightenment and transformed into the democratic experiments of France and the United States. This friendship was tested time and again in the battlefields, but also honed over decades of European construction when France steadfastly lends its support to Greece. The Philhellenes are not all as famous in France as Delacroix or Hugo, but they led a vast movement. They mobilized after the French Revolution of 1789, seeing a connection with a movement which coincided with the decline of the Ottoman Empire. Madame de Staël was among the first to raise funds, and Napoleon's soldiers voluntarily joined the front lines alongside the Greek revolutionaries because they believed the movement embodied the same values as those for which they were fighting. To raise international public awareness, Eugène Delacroix decided in 1822 to dedicate one of his works to the massacre of Chios, a painting exhibited at the Louvre, in memory of the slaughter on the Aegean island. 2 years later, he painted Greece on the ruins of Missolonghi, exhibited at the Museum of Fine Arts in Bordeaux. A metro station in Paris bears the name of General Botzaris, who died trying to prevent the siege. The disastrous fall of Missolonghi was a wake-up call for Western Europe, which relied on the Greek cause. In 1825, a committee of Philhellenes was created in France. Chateaubriand wrote an appeal in favor of the sacred cause of the Greeks. like Victor Hugo in Les Orientales in 1826. Finally, Hector Berlioz wrote the poem Scène héroïque, the Greek Revolution, in 1826. Yes, France is a true ally of Greece. We have a great tradition of friendship, and we have shared important historical moments. I am thinking also of our support to the Greeks who took refuge in France during the regime of the colonels. The main political opponents, as well as figures of contemporary Greek culture, like the composer Mikis Theodorakis, or the actress and later Minister of Culture, Mélina Mercouri. And we cannot forget President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing's plane, in which Constantin Karamanlis returned to Greece. As a former ambassador of France to the European Union, I also want to highlight France's support for Greece's entry into the European Union and our political support during the Greek debt crisis of 2010. Of course, friendship constantly evolves and develops to address common challenges, especially in the Eastern Mediterranean today. Almost a year ago to the day, President Macron and Prime Minister Mitsotakis announced their desire to forge a new strategic relationship between our two countries. And this week, our defense ministers signed a contract for the acquisition by Greece of Rafale aircraft. France is proud by Greece's choice, which is fully in line with our desire to develop greater European sovereignty in full consistency with and complementary to our transatlantic link and friendship. Long live French-Greek friendship. Vive l'amitié entre la Grèce et la France.
I'm pleased to join you today as the British Ambassador in Washington to celebrate 200 years of Greek independence. It's fitting to mark the moment with a celebration of literature, poetry and music. Greece is one of the UK's oldest and most historic allies. We're proud of the role we played in aiding the birth of the modern Greek nation, including the contribution of such famous British Philhellenes as Byron and Shelley. The UK is honoured to be a friend to Greece. We've stood side by side over the last 200 years, and we continue to work together on the most important issues facing our peoples, including recovering from the pandemic and combating climate change. Thursday, the 25th of March, marked a historic day for Greece, her people, and their families around the world. I join you in celebrating this momentous milestone and extend my congratulations and warmest wishes to all those joining today. We look forward to another 200 years of friendship. Yamas!
January 19, 2021. Dear friends, I welcome all of the participants of the commemorative event organized by the Greek Nationality Room Committee of the University of Pittsburgh to mark the bicentennial anniversary of the beginning of the Greek independent movement. Russia cherishes the centuries-old traditions of friendship developed between the Russians and the Greeks. Common civilizational values, orthodox culture, sincere mutual sympathy, and a close intertwining of human fates shape a solid basis for our cooperation. We appreciate that people in Athens and Greek communities in the United States keep historical memory about the Russian contribution of the liberation of Hellas from the 400-year-long Ottoman oppression. Greek national revival began essentially in the southern seaports of the Russian Empire, Odessa, Taganrog, and Chersonesus, where a large community of Greeks lived since the late 18th century. Philikieteria, a secret Greek organization, was thus created in 1814 in Odessa. This structure united Greeks from Egypt, Turkey, France, Italy, Germany, and Russia itself, and prepared the ground to further the fight for independence of Greece. Among outstanding Russian Greeks is General Alexander Ypsilantis, an aide-de-camp of Emperor Alexander I of Russia, who participated in the Patriotic War of 1812 against Napoleon. In March 1821, General Ypsilantis issued his famous proclamation in Jassy, calling all the Greeks to unite and struggle for independence. In the summer of the same year, the troops of Ypsilantis were defeated in the Battle of Dragashani. Nevertheless, the uprising against the Turks, led by Ypsilantis, triggered the chain reaction that was already unstoppable. An interesting fact is that in 1827, Ioannis Kapodistrias, ex-foreign minister of the Russian Empire, became the first head of the Greek modern statehood. In 1821, Ioannis Kapodistrias appointed, by the way, Alexander Ypsilantis' brother, Demetrius, as commander of the troops in eastern Greece. The Greek War of Independence was thereby started by elder brother, Alexander Ypsilantis, far from his historical homeland, and ended with a victory by the younger brother, Demetrius Ypsilantis, on the territory of Greece in 1829. Greece gained autonomy through the Treaty of Adrianople that was concluded after Turkey lost the Russo-Turkish War of 1828-1829. And under the London Protocols, signed in February 1830 by the Russian Empire, Great Britain, and France, the Greeks got their independent state. I am confident that friendly Russian-Greek relations are our common heritage and foundation for a promising and forward-looking partnership. Today, more than ever before, it is important to remember about that.
I am truly honored to participate in this interesting event that marks and celebrates an important milestone for Greece's historical trajectory and Greece's fate as an independent nation. The London Protocols, an agreement in 1830 between the three great powers of the time, Great Britain, France, and Russia, recognized Greece as an independent sovereign state and, in essence, carved the path to Greece's future. The London Protocols marked the end of an arduous road which has started back in 1821 with the breakout of Greek War of Independence. The London Protocols marked the end of an almost 10-year-long struggle which led to the establishment of an independent Greek state after 400 years of Ottoman rule. A lot of pain, a lot of blood, a lot of suffering went into this period before the watershed event of the birth of modern Greece. As we celebrate the bicentennial year of the Greek War of Independence, of the Greek Revolution of 1821, we commemorate the struggle and sacrifices of the Greek people for liberation. But we also honor and celebrate all those non-Greeks, the Philhellenes, who gave a valuable contribution and made a lot of sacrifices in order to help Greeks attain their dream. We also recognize the efforts and actions of our allies which led to Greek independence. But we will never forget and we will always pay tribute to the contributions of the Greek diaspora. From Philiki Eteria, the cornerstone of the organization of the War of Greek Independence, to Ioannis Kapodistrias, the first governor of Free Greece, to today, the diaspora stood always by the homeland. The diaspora was always next and a big supporter to all the fights, all the struggles, all the problems of Greece, of their mainland. The Hellenic American community, and speaking about this event, the Hellenic American community of Western Pennsylvania, we're grateful to you. You are always standing next to us. Your ancestors were part of the Greek War of Liberation, but also your ancestors were part of settling and creating the big American state in which we all live today. I want to congratulate the organizers, the University of Pittsburgh and the Executive Committee of the Greek, French, English and Russian Nationality Rooms programs. All of you have a big part in the celebration of this year's Greek birth. It is a fundamental principle of the modern Greek state and of the Greek foreign policy to remember, to honor and to stay committed. We remember the struggles of Greeks and non-Greeks next to the Greek people who lived in Greece of that time in order to achieve a free state. We value the contributions of our friends, and we're very committed to continue working with all of you in order to achieve our common goals. Thank you and best success to tonight's event.
A classic times Greek philosopher has once stated that a nation which forgets its history is a nation without a future. The significant truth acquires even greater importance in the case of nations with such rich historical depth, dating since 4,000 years ago. The span of time is characterized by many noble principles, including empathy for the human being, but primarily by the love for freedom. Throughout this era, we witnessed a frequent manifestation of this heartfelt objective, always at great cost of human losses and destruction by barbarous invaders. It is in this perspective, and having suffered 400 years of brutal occupation, the Greek nation has risen 200 years ago against the Ottoman occupiers to create the modern Greek state after almost 10 years of bloody and extremely violent revolt. It is no surprise that the slogan of the insurgents was freedom or death. And many were those who sacrificed their lives and that of their families, truly attached to their revolutionary oath. This uneven struggle has moved many friends of the Greek nation, known as the Philhellenes. Many Americans chose to join the struggle, and many among them gave their lives to this noble goal alongside the Greek freedom fighters. And they certainly contributed to the successful outcome of this gigantic and heroic endeavor. The example set by those heroes inspired other Balkan nations who eventually started seeking their liberation from the Ottoman yoke. Thus, it is with great pride that the Greek nation, reminiscent of its glorious struggle for freedom and national emancipation, is celebrating the revolution which started 200 years ago, is sharing their rightful joy with a friendly American nation who generously supported their cause and later received them with hospitality in their quest for a better life in the New World. Pittsburgh figures high in this action, and the Greek Americans proudly share this memorable celebration of freedom, which serves as a beacon to all progressive nations in the world. Long live the Greek-American friendship.
Welcome. County Executive Rich Fitzgerald here. Obviously, we're doing this virtually. Wish we were doing this in person, but we didn't want to miss honoring the 200th anniversary of the Greek Revolution. Greek immigrants have historically been such a big part of the Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania region, going back to our industrial age, right up through the technical revolution we're living through right now. So we wanted to honor our friends with a proclamation and officially read that into the record and be part of the record and the history of here in Allegheny County. Whereas March 2021 will be the month in which those of Greek descent across the world will honor and celebrate the bicentennial of the Greek Revolution, the beginning of the modern Greek nation. Locally, the American Hellenic Foundation of Western Pennsylvania, is working with the Greek room community of the Nationality rooms at the University of Pittsburgh and partners in Greece to virtually celebrate this year as a milestone for the people who came from Greece to make Western Pennsylvania their home. And whereas the American Hellenic Foundation is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to foster greater understanding of the culture, history, language, and arts of Greece, past and present, by providing funds for scholarship, research, and education in established or seed programs that address the aims in institutions of higher learning and sponsoring academic and cultural programs and events linking all people of America and Greece. Whereas Allegheny County is proud to join in the celebration of a culture which has made great contributions to our region in the past through the steel mills, the coal factories, and the industry of the area, and as more recently through successful entrepreneurship as leaders in academia, corporate life, and as eminent philanthropists supporting a wide array of programs aimed at underprivileged and minorities, social and economic integration, and scholarly achievement. Whereas this milestone is worthy of great adulation, the United States Embassy in Athens announced the launch of a campaign for the entire year to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Greek Revolution of 1821 against the Ottoman Empire. The campaign, USA and Greece, celebrating 200 years of friendship, highlights the enduring ties and shared values between the two countries over centuries. It will celebrate Greece's history, honor its people, highlight its achievements, and envision its future. And whereas we are fortunate to live in a region with eminent diversity, full of people from all parts of the world contributing to the cultural breadth of our county, we are thrilled to join the Greek American community in its bicentennial celebration and look forward to all we will continue to achieve together. Now therefore be it resolved that I, County Executive Rich Fitzgerald, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim March as Greek American Bicentennial Month in Allegheny County. And also let me say, I want to wish my couple of Greek individuals in government who have really contributed. Councilman Nick Futoulis, very proud of his Greek heritage, and Christina Kasotis, who came here to lead our airport and has done just a great job. These are just two of the more recent ones, but again, our history is so rich in the Greek immigrants who came here, people of Greek heritage, Greek descendancy, who have contributed so much and made Pittsburgh and southwestern Pennsylvania the great place that it is. And congratulations to everybody. Stay safe, and let's look forward to another positive 200 years of partnership.
Hi, I'm Bill Peduto, the mayor of the city of Pittsburgh. And on behalf of all Pittsburghers, I wish to take a moment to recognize the importance of March 2021 as the bicentennial of the Greek Revolution, and also to recognize the importance of the Greek Americans who came not only to Pittsburgh, but our entire region from western Pennsylvania to northern West Virginia and eastern Ohio. They were instrumental in working in the factories, in the mines, in the mills. They were the ones who started businesses that helped to have our area flourish. And they are the ones that are helping to build a new economy so that our region can flourish once again in the 21st century. On behalf of all the people of the city of Pittsburgh, congratulations on the 200th anniversary, and thank you to the Greek Americans who have made this region so proud.
Εξοχότατοι κύριοι πρέσβεις, εξοχότατοι κύριοι πρίτανοι του Πανεπιστημίου του Pittsburgh, ετοιμότατη η Επιτροπή της Διοργάνωσης Επετείου των 190 χρόνων από το Πρωτόκολλο του Λονδίνου. Κυρίες και κύριοι, είναι μεγάλη μου τιμή να απευθύνω χαιρετισμό στη σπουδαία αυτή εκδήλωση που διοργανώνει το Πανεπιστήμιο του Pittsburgh στην Πενσιλβάνια μέσω των Nationality Rooms σε συνεργασία με το Αμερικανοελληνικό Ίδρυμα Δυτικής Πενσιλβάνιας για την επέτειο των 190 ετών από την υπογραφή του Πρωτοκόλλου του Λονδίνου, το οποίο επισφραγίζει την ίδρυση του σύγχρονου ελληνικού κράτους. Αποτελείται για εμένα ύψιστη τιμή η τιμητική αναφορά του πεανιώτιου πλαρχηγού Γιάννη Ντάβαρη στην απελευθερωτή των Αθηνών στην εκδήλωση αυτή. Διαχρονικά η πόλη μας πρωτοστατούσε στους αγώνες για δημοκρατία, ελευθερία, δικαιοσύνη και ισότητα ενάντια σε κάθε εχθρό και πολέμιο αυτών των αξιών, οι οποίες θεμελίωσαν το δυτικό κόσμο. Έχουμε χρέος ως σύγχρονοι άνθρωποι να μην λησμονήσουμε το παρελθόν μας. Αντίθετα, οφείλουμε να διδαχθούμε πολλά από αυτό, χτίζοντας ένα μέλλον εισάξιο της ιστορίας μας. Ιδιαίτερες ευχαριστίες οφείλω στο Ευρωπαϊκό Κέντρο Τέχνης της Ελλάδας και τον πρόεδρό του, κ. Ευάγγελο Ανδρέου, για τη σπουδαία συνεισφορά του στην πόλη μας και στην ευγενική του πρόταση συνεργασίας σε αυτή τη σεπτή τελετή. Ευχαριστώ επίσης τον πρόεδρο της Οργανωτικής Επιτροπής, Δ. Νικόλαο Γιαννουκάκη, και όλα τα μέλη της Επιτροπής που κρατάτε άσβεστο το φως της Ελλάδος στην ομογένεια. Να είστε καλά, καλή επιτυχία στις εργασίες σας.
Our dear friends and cultural cooperators, I must in the first place congratulate you on the program that you have organized in Western Pennsylvania to commemorate the historical struggle of the Greek Revolution, and I wish you initiative every success. Αγαπητοί φίλοι, μέλη και συνεργάτες του American Hellenic Foundation of Western Pennsylvania, κυρίες και κύριοι, γιορτάζουμε την επέτειο των 200 χρόνων από την Ελληνική Επανάσταση. Γιορτάζουμε το κορυφαίο εθνικό απελευθερωτικό γεγονός των νεότερων χρόνων, με παγκόσμια έγκλη, με παγκόσμια απήχηση και ακτινοβολία, διότι τελέστηκε με την παγκόσμια συμμετοχή, διότι υπήρξε το πνευματικό προϊόν του όπου τότε γης ελληνικού διαφωτισμού. Αξίζει να αναφέρομαι τα δεσπόζοντα ονόματα αυτού του διαφωτισμού: τον Αδαμάντιο Χωραή, τον Ευγενιο Βούλγαρη, τον Νικηφόρο Θεοτόκη, τον Άνθιμο Γαζή, τον Θεόφιλο Καΐρη, τον Γρηγόριο Κωνσταντά, τον Μεθόδιο Ανθρακίτη, τον Νεόφυτο Δούκα και άλλους επιφανείς. Βέβαια, τον Κοσμάτων Ετωλό και βεβαιότατα τον Ρίγα Φεραίο. Δεν έχουμε να κάνουμε μόνο με ένα πλήθος πολεμικών επιχειρήσεων από που αναδείχθηκε η ανδρεία ως αρετή των ανθρώπων που αξιούν την κατάκτηση του υπέρτατου αγαθού της ελευθερίας. Έχουμε να κάνουμε με μια βαθύτατα αξιακή ηθική υπόθεση. Είναι αυτή η οποία ενέπνευσε κορυφαία ονόματα, κορυφαίους ανθρώπους της διανόησης. Έναν Βίκτορα Ουγκό, η οποία ενέπνευσε πλήθος μεγάλων ζωγράφων, αρχιγενωμένης από έναν Τελακρουά. Είναι αυτή η οποία στη συνέχεια μας εκκληροδότησε την αρετή του πώς κατακτάται η ελευθερία, η οποία βεβαίως κατακτάται κατά το μάθημα της Επανάστασης μόνον με την θυσία. Μέχρι και σήμερα, όπου υπάρχει πρόβλημα και θέμα έλλειψης ελευθερίας, εκείνο το οποίο την αποκαθιστά είναι η διεκδίκησή της επιθυσία. Αγαπητοί φίλοι, η Επανάσταση δεν ανέδειξε μόνον την ανδρεία, δηλαδή την αρετή του ανδρός. Ανέδειξε και κάτι ακόμα περισσότερο και ακόμα χαρακτηριστικότερο. Ανέδειξε το ρόλο, τον σημαντικό, τον αποφασιστικό, τον γενναιότατο ρόλο της γυναίκας, της μητέρας και της κόρης στον αγώνα. Τα 37 ονόματα της Δέσπος και της Λέωνος Μπότσαρη, της Λασκαρίνας Μπουμπουλίνας, της Μαντός Μαυρογένους, είναι τα υποδείγματα της συμβολής της γυναίκας στον αγώνα. Είναι τα υποδείγματα του ότι οι μεγάλοι αγώνες και τα μεγάλα γεγονότα δεν ολοκληρώνονται εάν δεν έχουν την καθολικότητα. Την καθολικότητα του λαού. Μόνον από αυτόν εκπορεύεται η ηθική αξία, η πνευματική αξία, το έργο της διανοίας, μόνον από το λαό. Και μόνον αυτός αποτελεί την πηγή της κάθε πνευματικής καλλιτεχνικής δημιουργίας. Αποτελεί όπως και την πηγή της πολιτικής δημιουργίας. Αποτελεί την πηγή της κοινωνικής δημιουργίας. Τα πάντα απορρέουν από τον λαό, υπό μία προϋπόθεση. Ότι θα έχει ελευθερία και δημοκρατία. Με την ελευθερία και τη δημοκρατία, η οποία υπήρξε προϊόν της Επανάστασης, η Νέα Ελλάδα έκανε πραγματικά κατορθώματα και πολεμικά και πνευματικά και ηθικά και κοινωνικά, τα οποία πράγματι μέχρι σήμερα την τιμούν ως χώρα και τιμούν τους Έλληνες απανταχού της γης, ιδιαίτερα τα αδέρφια μας, τους Έλληνες της Διασποράς, διότι αυτοί μεταλαμπαδεύουν μέχρι και σήμερα ακριβώς το ηθικό και πνευματικό περιεχόμενο, το οποίο επήραν ως κληρονομιά από τους αγώνες της χώρας, του γένους, για να γίνει έθνος, κράτος και για να υπάρχει μέχρι σήμερα και να υπερηφανεύεται δικαίως ότι εξακολουθεί να είναι ένας μικρός φωτοδότης μεγάλου φωτός. Σας εύχομαι κάθε επιτυχία στις δράσεις σας. Εύχομαι να έχετε υγεία, να είστε πάντα καλά, γεροί, ακμαίοι, να έχετε μακρότητα ημερών. Δεν παραλείπω να δώσω τα συγχαρητήρια του Διοικητικού Συμβουλίου του Ευρωπαϊκού Κέντρου Τέννις της Ελλάδος προς τα εθνικά δωμάτια, τις επιτροπές των εθνικών δωματίων του Πανεπιστημίου του Pittsburgh, με το οποίο μας συνδέουν πολύ μεγάλοι, διαρκείς και βαθύτατοι δεσμοί συνεργασίας. Τους ευχαριστούμε γι' αυτό. Ευχαριστούμε όλους εσάς, σας τιμούμε, υποκλεινόμεθα στην αξιοσύνη σας και παρακαλούμε να μας θεωρείτε πάντοτε φίλους και συνεργάτες σας. Καλή επιτυχία.
Bonsoir. Good evening. I'm Roberta Hatcher, and I'm chair of the French Nationality Room Committee, and I'm thrilled and honored to be part of the Greek Independence Day celebration. So, as our offering for this celebration, the French Room Committee offers a reading of French texts from the 19th century that supported Greek independence. The first is by François-René de Chateaubriand and is titled Notes on Greece. And unlike many French poets of the period who were more enamored with the Greece of antiquity, Chateaubriand had traveled to Greece, knew and admired modern Greeks, and popularized the cause of Greek independence in France. The second text is by Alphonse de Lamartine, and it is a poem titled The Last Canto of Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, which he wrote after Byron's death in Greece in support of the Greek struggle. And it is written in the voice of Byron's narrator, Childe Harold. So reading these poems for us will be Christine Frechard, owner of the Christine Frechard Gallery in Lawrenceville. And Christine is an active member of the Francophone community in Pittsburgh. She has been a teacher of French for over 25 years and is herself an accomplished poet. So again, with thanks to the Greek Nationality Room Committee, I will hand it over to Christine. Thank you.
René de Chateaubriand, note sur la Grèce. Je me dévouais à la liberté de la Grèce. Il me semblait remplir un devoir filial envers une mère. La Grèce sort héroïquement de ses cendres pour assurer son triomphe. Elle n'a besoin que d'un regard de bienveillance des princes chrétiens. Qu'on lise dans le récit de quelques soldats français qui se connaissent en valeur, qu'on lise le récit de ces combats dans lesquels ils ont eux-mêmes versé leur sang. Et l'on reconnaîtra que les hommes qui habitent la Grèce sont dignes de fouler cette terre illustre. Les Canaris, les Miaolis auraient été reconnus pour véritables Grecs, à Mycale et à Salamine. La France a laissé tant de grands souvenirs en Orient, qui vit ses soldats régner en Égypte, à Jérusalem, à Constantinople, à Athènes. La France, fille aînée de la Grèce par le courage, le génie et les arts, contemplerait avec joie la liberté de ce noble et malheureux pays et se croiserait pieusement pour elle. Alphonse de Lamartine, le dernier chant du pèlerinage d'Harold. Muse des derniers temps, divinité sublime, qui des monts fabuleux n'habite plus la cime, toi qui n'as pour séjour, pour temple, pour autel, que le sein frémissant des généreux mortels. Toi dont la main se plaît à couronner ta lyre, des lauriers du combat, des palmes du martyre, et qui fait retentir les mus ressuscités, des noms vengeurs du Christ et de la liberté. Sentiment plus qu'humain que l'homme déifie, viens seul, c'est à toi seul que mon cœur sacrifie. Les siècles de l'erreur sont passés, l'homme est vieux, ce monde en grandissant a détrôné ses dieux. Comme l'homme qui touche à son adolescence, brise les vains hochets de sa crédule enfance. L'Olympe n'entend plus, sur ses sommets sacrés, hennir du Dieu du jour les coursiers altérés. Délos n'a plus d'autel, Delphes n'a plus d'oracle. Le temps a balayé le temple et les miracles. Mais il reste à jamais au fond du cœur de l'homme deux sentiments divins, plus forts que le trépas, l'amour, la liberté, Dieu qui ne mourront pas. L'amour, je l'ai chanté quand, plein de son délire, ce nom seul murmuré faisait vibrer ma lyre, et que mon cœur cédait au pouvoir d'un coup d'œil, comme la voile au vent qui la pousse à l'écueil. J'aimais, je fus aimé. C'est assez pour ma tombe, qu'on y grave ces mots, et qu'une larme y tombe. Remplis seul aujourd'hui ma pensée et mes vers, toi qui naquis le jour où naquit l'univers. Liberté, premier don qu'un Dieu fit à la terre, qui marqua l'homme enfant d'un divin caractère, qui fit reculer, à son premier aspect, les animaux tremblants d'un sublime respect, et quand 1000 tyrans enchaîneraient tes bras sous le choc de ces fers dont leurs mains t'ont chargé, tu jaillis tout à coup, et la terre est vengée. Ces temps sont arrivés au rivage d'Argos. N'entends-tu pas ce cri qui monte vers les flots? C'est ton nom. Il franchit les écueils des dactyles. Il éveille en sursaut l'écho des thermophiles. Du Pinde et de l'Itum, il s'élance à la fois. La voix d'un peuple entier n'est qu'une seule voix. Elle gronde, elle court, elle roule, elle tonne. Le sol sacré tressaille à ce bruit qui l'étonne. Et rouvrant ses tombeaux, enfantent des soldats, des os de Miltiade et de Léonidas. Ce sont là les flambeaux dignes de tes autels. Viens donc, dernier vengeur du destin des mortels, toi que la tyrannie osait nommer un rêve, la croix dans une main et dans l'autre le glaive, viens voir à la clarté de ces bûchers errants ressusciter un peuple et périr des tyrans. Je ne suis qu'un barbare, étranger de vos bords, fils d'un soleil moins pur et de moins noble père. Indigne, ô fils d'Élée, de vous nommer mes frères, vous dont le monde entier, en comptant les aïeux, ne nomme que des rois, des héros ou des dieux. Mais partout où le temps fait luire leur mémoire, où le cœur d'un mortel palpite au nom de gloire, où la sainte pitié penche pour le malheur, la Grèce compte un fils, et ses fils un vengeur. Ne viens point ici par de vaines images, dans vos seins frémissants réveillez vos courages, un seul cri vous restait, et vous l'avez jeté. Votre langue n'a qu'un seul mot, liberté. Moi, pour prix du trésor que je viens vous ouvrir, je ne demande rien que le droit de mourir, de verser avec vous sur les champs du carnage un sang bouillant de gloire et digne d'un autre âge, et de voir en mourant mon génie adopté par le Fils de la Grèce et de la liberté.
Today I'm going to read two poems by Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin, who was one of the greatest Russian poets of all times, and he's the author of Ode to Liberty, Evgeny Onegin, Boris Godunov, and he was one of the greatest supporters of the freedom of Greece. Восстань, о Греция, восстань! Недаром напрягала силы, недаром потрясала брань Олимп и Пинт и Фермопилы. Под сенью ветхих вершин свобода юная возникла, на гробах Перикла, на мраморных Афин. Страна героев и богов расторгла рабские вериги при пении пламенных стихов Тертея, Байрона и Риги. Second poem is called To the Death of Heterist. Гречанка верная, не плачь, он пал героем. Свинец врага в его вонзился грудь. Не плачь, не ты ль ему сама пред первым боем назначила кровавой чести путь? Тогда, тяжелую предчувствуя разлуку, супруг тебе простер торжественную руку, младенца своего в слезах благословил, но знамя черное свободой восшумело. Как Аристогетон он миртом меч обвил, он в сечу ринулся и, падши, совершил великое святое дело.
Of gentleness and Hi, my name is Peter Hayes, and I'm the treasurer of the English Nationality Room, and I'm honored to be here to represent the English Room and take part in this celebration of the 190th anniversary of the Greek War for Independence. In recognition of Britain's support for the Greek Revolution, I'd like to read the words of two of England's greatest poets, who at the time were in the vanguard of British support and in one case made the ultimate sacrifice for the freedom of Greece. The first poet I'd like to read is Percy by Shelley. He was born in 1792 and he was a leading figure of the Romantic movement. This particular poem is called Hellas and it was written in 1821, and Shelley wrote it specifically to raise money for the Greek War for Independence. It was also Shelley's last published poem in his lifetime, but you should recall that Shelley died very young in a boating accident at the age of 29. I'm actually going to read a part of the poem. As I mentioned, it's a fairly long one. But you should keep in mind that the poem is written from 3 points of view. The first one is Mahmud, the Ottoman Sultan, who leads the fight against the Greeks. And Mahmud, during the poem, seeks the help of the wandering Jew Ahasuerus, because Mahmud is growing convinced that despite winning many battles against the Greek, in the end, he's going to lose the war. The third point of view is the point of view of a group of Greek slave women, and it's in them that Shelley invests the hope of a Greek victory and how wonderful that would be. And I'm going to read a part of that chorus at this point. So here's a part of the chorus from Hellas by Percy Shelley. The world's great age begins anew, the golden years return, the earth doth like a snake renew her winter weeds outworn. Heaven smiles and faiths and empires gleam like wrecks in a dissolving dream. A brighter Hellas rears its mountains from waves serener far. A new Peneus rolls his fountains against the morning star. Where fairer Tempes bloom, there sleep young Cyclades on a summer deep. A loftier Argo cleaves the main, fraught with a later prize. Another Orpheus sings again, and loves, and weeps, and dies. A new Ulysses leaves, once more Calypso, for his native shore. Another Athens shall arise, and to remoter time bequeath, like sunset to the skies, the splendor of its prime, and leave, if nothing so bright may live, all earth can take, or heaven can give. The second poet I'd like to read is Lord Byron, who was born in 1809, and like Shelley, was a leader of the Romantic movement and is considered to be one of England's greatest poets. Byron was living in Genoa, Italy, when he took an interest in the Greek War for Independence. He arrived in Greece in 1823. He supported the war at great personal cost and was preparing to lead a small contingent of soldiers against the Ottomans when, unfortunately, he succumbed to illness. He died in 1824 at the age of 36. While his time in Greece was limited, his support of the Greek cause called attention to the war and helped convince Britain and other nations to support Greece against the Ottomans. For this reason, he is remembered fondly in Greece, even today. The poem I'd like to read is a lyrical poem Lord Byron wrote called The Isles of Greece. The Isles of Greece, the Isles of Greece, where burning Sappho loved and sung, where grew the arts of war and peace, where Delos rose and Phoebus sprung. Eternal summer gilds them yet, but all except their sun is set. The Scion and the Tan Muse, the hero's harp, the lover's lute, have found the fame your shores refuse. Their place of birth alone is mute, to sounds which echo further west than your sires, islands of the blest. The mountains look on Marathon, and Marathon looks on the sea, and musing there an hour alone, I dreamt that Greece might still be free. For standing on the Persian's grave, I could not deem myself a slave.
Μυστήριο και παράδοξο προκάλεσε τον Ευαγγελισμό, την γέννηση και την Ανάσταση του Χριστού Εκκλησία. Μυστήριο ανθρώπινο επίσης προκάλεσε η ανθρωπότητα την Επανάσταση του 1821. Όσο και να παιδέψει το μυαλό του ο άνθρωπος, δεν πρόκειται ποτέ να κατανοήσει τα μυστήρια αυτά. Μόνο με πίστη μπορεί να τα αισθανθεί ως γεγονότα. Το πρώτο ως θεϊκό και το δεύτερο ως ιστορικό. Κάθε χρόνο γιορτάζει η πατρίδα μας η Ελλάδα αυτό τον διπλό εορτασμό. Με τον Ευαγγελισμό αναστήθηκε η πεσμένη ανθρωπότητα και με τον δεύτερο ελευθερώθηκε μια πατρίδα ηρώων, μαρτύρων, μια πατρίδα αγίων, σοφών, μια πατρίδα ποιητών και φιλοσόφων, μια πατρίδα που λέγεται Ελλάδα, στην οποία δεν υπάρχει σπιθαμή γης, δεν υπάρχει πέτρα να μην ποτίστηκε με δάκρυ και με αίμα μέσα στην ιστορία της ξακουστής αυτής πατρίδας. Ευαγγελίζου γη χαρά μεγάλη, γιατί ο ήλιος της λευτεριάς μέριασε τα σύννεφα της σκλαβιάς και εξαστέρωσε ουρανός της Ελλάδας, γιατί η Ελλάδα θα πει λευτεριά. Θα ήθελα κι εγώ έτσι ως ένας απλός παπάς της ξενιτιάς, της μεγάλης αυτής χώρας που λέγεται Αμερική, να τιμήσω και να εξυμνήσω το ματωμένο ράσο του 21, το ράσο του Παπαφλέσσα, του Αθανάσιου Διάκου, του καλόγυρου Σαμουήλ και εκείνο του ήρωα, του δεσπότη των παλαιών πατρών Γερμανών, που τόλμησε χωρίς να φοβηθεί τον θάνατο να ευλογήσει τα άρματα των παλικαριών μέσα στην εκκλησιά, στην Αγία Λαύρα, και να υψώσει το λάβαρο της Επαναστάσεως, να ανακηρύξει την Επανάσταση, ορκίζοντες όλοι λευτεριά ή θάνατος. Μέσα στα μοναστήρια και στα ξοκλήσια κάτω από το τρεμάμενο φως του καντιλίου, ο γέρον παπάς δάσκαλος άναβε τη φλόγα στις καρδιές των παιδιών με υπομονή πως μια μέρα θα έρθει η ελευθεριά. Και αυτός ο πόθος έλαβε σάρκα και οστά την ημέρα του Ευαγγελισμού του 1821. Και έλεγε ο Κολοκοτρώνης στα παλικάρια του: «Ξέρουμε πως είναι πολλοί και είμαστε λίγοι. Ο Θεός έδωσε τον όρκο του και δεν τον παίρνει πίσω. Θα πολεμήσουμε για την πατρίδα και για την πίστη μας στην Αγία». Ηρωισμό και θάρρος έδειξαν και οι γυναίκες. Σημεοφόρος τους η πλούσια αρχόντισσα Λασκαρίνα Απουπουλίνα. Είναι γνωστά τα λόγια που είπε στους ηγέτες της Ύδρας. «Έχασα τον σύζυγόν μου, ευλογητός ο Θεός. Ο πρεσβύτερος γιος μου έπεσε με τα όπλα στα χέρια, ευλογητός ο Θεός. Ο δεύτερος και μόνος γιος μου, 14ετής στην ηλικία, μάχεται και πιθανόν να έβρει ένδοξο θάνατο, ευλογητός ο Θεός. Έδωσε όλη της την περιουσία και αγόρασε πολεμικά καράβια και κατέστρεψε ολόκληρο τον τουρκικό στόλο». Η Επανάσταση του 21 δεν είναι μύθος, ούτε παραμύθι, αλλά ένα ιστορικό φαινόμενο, ένα θαύμα που συγκρόνησε ολόκληρη την ανθρωπότητα. Έγινε γνωστό πανταγού όπου ζούσαν και ζουν ακόμα λαοί σκλαβωμένοι, με πόθο πως μια μέρα θα ελευθερωθούν. Κάπου ζουν και σήμερα κολοκοτρονέοι, κανάριδες, μιαούλιδες και μπουμπουλίνες που θα φέρουν λευτεριά στην πατρίδα τους. Οι ήρωες του 21 έδωσαν ό,τι είχαν για να έχουμε εμείς σήμερα ό,τι έχουμε. Και τελειώνω με ένα ανέκδοτο του 21. Ο ηρωικός Σουλιώτης κατά την ώρα του αποχωρισμού για πόλεμο κρατούσε στην αγκαλιά του τα παιδιά του, τα φιλούσε και δεν ονοούσε να τα αφήσει από τα χέρια του. Σε μια στιγμή μάλιστα, βλέποντας το μεγαλύτερο τον Κίτσο να χαϊδεύει με παιδική αθωότητα τα στραφτερά του πιστόλια, του είπε με πόνο: «Κίτσο μου, εύχομαι να χαρείς μια μέρα τη λευτεριά που θα την πληρώσεις με το αίμα του πατέρα σου». Και γυρίζοντας προς τη γυναίκα του πρόσθεσε: «Χρυσή, σου αφήνω τα παιδιά στα χέρια σου. Αν η πατρίδα ελευθερωθεί, θα ζήσετε με την ευλογία του Θεού. Αν όμως ο τόπος μας δεν είναι τυχερός, μάθετε στην εξορία να αγαπούν το χώμα που τα γέννησε, να μισούν τους τυράννους και να ζουν με την ελπίδα πως μια μέρα θα αγωνιστούν για τη λευτεριά». Συγχαρητήρια στην Ελλάδα για την επέτειο των 200 χρόνων της Παλιρεσίας. Ας είναι αιωνία η μνήμη των ηρώων και ο Θεός να ευλογεί και να προστατεύει την πατρίδα μας στην Ελλάδα.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, on behalf of the Greek Nationality Room Committee, the American Hellenic Foundation of Western Pennsylvania, and the European Arts Center of Greece, I would like to recognize and honor our sister communities that are represented in the French, English, and Russian nationality rooms. For the friendship between our communities, our common bonds, our values and virtues, and our shared futures as Americans and across the Atlantic as people of great nations.
I would particularly like to thank Nick Giannakakis and the Greek Nationality Room Committee for including not only the French room, but the Russian and British nationality rooms for the commemoration of our country's participation in the Protocols of London, which established Greek as an independent sovereign state. And for this, we were honored with a plaque, which will find its way into the French Nationality Room case as soon as we are allowed back in the building.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kim Sapinski. As chair, it is my honor and pleasure to accept this award on behalf of the English Nationality Room Committee. This beautiful plaque reads, "A Synaxis of Friends, in honor of France, Russia, and Great Britain, through the French, English, and Russian Room Committees of the Nationality Rooms program at the University of Pittsburgh, celebrating the friendship of France, Great Britain, Russia, and Greece in the rise of the modern Greek nation through the London Protocols of 1827 through 1830. Through our common memories, lives, and dreams, all of us have inside of us some part of Greece." On behalf of the English Room Committee, I would like to extend a heartfelt Efharisto thank you to Western Pennsylvania's Greek community through the thoughtful kindness of, first, the Greek Nationality Room Committee, chaired by the accomplished and delightful Dr. Nick Giannakakis. Second, the American Hellenic Foundation of Western Pennsylvania. And finally, the European Arts Center of Greece, for this honor and recognition of the British role in support of the achievement of Greek national independence some 200 years ago. In the early 19th century, that struggle for freedom and democracy in the land in which these human ideals were first born some 5 centuries before the Common Era, inspired poets, writers, and philosophers, including, of course, England's Lord Byron and Percy Bysshe Shelley, to advocate the Greek cause and esteem the Greeks' courage, willingness to sacrifice, and to create a renewed sense of national respect and self-realization. These romantic poets recognized and celebrated the legacy of ancient Greece at the very core of Western culture, ideals embodied in the contemporary national rising. As Shelley so aptly put it, and echoing the words inscribed on the award plaque, quote, "We are all Greeks. Our laws, our literature, our religion, our arts have their root in Greece," unquote. The poets saw in the fight for independence and freedom a rebirth of the ancient Greek ideals, especially those which abhor tyranny of any stripe. That is what we celebrate tonight, the rebirth of the ancient Greek homeland as an independent, unified nation, upholding the ideals of freedom, liberty, and democracy. These are the same ideals that inspired the United States Constitution, free and democratic societies throughout the world, including, of course, Great Britain, and people who strive for freedom everywhere. It is said that the tendency of nations and peoples inspired by democratic ideals is towards cooperation with one another rather than conflict, a spirit embodied both by the Nationality Rooms program and by the generous gesture of the Western Pennsylvania Greek community to reach out in friendship and honor the English, French, and Russian Nationality Room committees for the historic roles played by each of the nations their respective rooms represent in the movement for Greek independence. We are deeply honored, and we thank you for including us in your celebration.
Hello, my name is Margarita Zabelina. On behalf of the Russian Nationality Room Committee at the University of Pittsburgh, I would like to thank Greek Nationality Room of the University of Pittsburgh and Greek community of the Western PA for awarding us with this wonderful gift. the gift of recognition. This means a lot to us. Russia and Greece have a long history of mutual support and respect. Our values and our cultures have a lot of similarities, which makes this award ever more valuable to us.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, on behalf of the municipality of Paeania, Attica, Greece, the Greek Nationality Room Committee, the American Hellenic Foundation of Western Pennsylvania, and the European Arts Center of Greece, I would like to recognize and honor the University of Pittsburgh, the Chancellor of the University, as well as the University Center for International Studies and the Nationality Rooms program for their support of programs that bring Greece and Western Pennsylvania together through the Nationality Rooms.
Hello, my name is Christina Leniez. As the Community Relations and Global Learning Scholarship Administrator for the Nationality Rooms and Intercultural Exchange Programs, I am honored to wish the Greek Nationality Room Committee and its members, the Greek community at large, both locally and around the world, felicitations in marking the bicentennial of the Greek Revolution of 1821. The Nationality Rooms programs would like to give a hearty appreciation and acknowledgement for the work, the coordination, and creativity brought together like a symphony by the Greek Committee Chair, Dr. Nick Yannakaukis, without which this wouldn't have been possible. From the list of distinguished guests he has put together to the events, which are both historical and educational. We also acknowledge and thank the rest of the distinguished officers of the Greek Room Committee, Mrs. Eleni Papanikolaou, Mr. Steve Andrews, and Ms. Kula Kaskavaltsis. We thank the chairs of the French, the English, and the Russian committees, in this order, Ms. Roberta Hatcher, Ms. Kim Shipinski, and Ms. Margarita Zabelina, for participating in the London Protocols, celebrating the friendship of France, Great Britain, Russia, and Greece in the rise of modern Greek nations through the London Protocols. The French, English, and Russians, among other friends of Greece, were instrumental in helping Greece win the War of 1827. In particular, the naval battle in Navarino was a deciding factor in guaranteeing the sovereignty of Greece. To close, 2021 is a very special year. It is the 80th anniversary of the dedication of the Greek Nationality Room and the 95th anniversary of the founding of the Nationality Rooms programs. I was told that the Greek community was one of the very first group to heed the call of Chancellor Bowman and Mrs. Ruth Crawford Mitchell in building a room. The Greek Planning Committee started in 1926, and 15 years later, finally finished the room. This was due to very trying circumstances, namely the Depression and the start of World War II. In a way, the Greek Nationality Room and the Nationality Rooms programs share the same birth year. Sincharithiria.
Dear friends, colleagues, and members of the Greek community, both here in Western Pennsylvania and those abroad, I'm honored in my capacity as the director of the University Center for International Studies and on behalf of the University of Pittsburgh's Nationality Rooms program to receive this plaque that demonstrates the fellowship and solidarity among the Greek, French, British, and Russian Nationality Room committees. Let me first thank all of those who have made today possible, including the municipality of Penia, Attica, and its dedicated mayor, Mr. Isidoros Maris, and Christina Lagnies, and Pitt's renowned Nationality Rooms program. For 83 years, the Nationality Rooms have promoted Pittsburgh's ethnic diversity and immigrant heritage. Thank you especially to the French, English, Russian, and Greek Nationality Room committees and their respective communities within the wider Western Pennsylvania region that have also been part of this special project. For decades, the Nationality Rooms committees have raised funds for study abroad scholarships that enrich Pitt students' lives. Lastly, I would like to thank the European Arts Center of Greece and the American Hellenic Foundation of Western Pennsylvania and its members participating in this event and commemoration. It is thanks to these organizations and their tireless efforts that we are celebrating today. I take this opportunity to highlight the important work of all present here. This plaque is a vital symbol of expanding cultural and educational exchange. I believe these endeavors are needed as much today as they have ever been to create a more just, inclusive, and connected world. By bringing the transnational experiences of Greek and other immigrant groups into the national and university conversation about the American character, events like these enable Pittsburghers and others to be cognizant of the past and continuing impact of immigrants on the social, economic, and cultural vibrancy of the region. The celebration of the bicentennial of Greek independence allows us the chance not only to recognize and pay tribute to the Greek diaspora here in the United States and southwestern Pennsylvania, but also to the bonds that immigrants, their ancestors, and their descendants have forged across nations. Pittsburgh, as many of you know, is the city of bridges. They connect neighborhoods, people, commerce, and lives. The innovative flagship project, Bridges of White and Blue, adopted by the Greece 2021 Committee, brings a focus to Pittsburgh's Greek community and other immigrant communities that build the city and its bridges, which are now and forever part of the city's iconic skyline. Bridges of White and Blue and the wider work of Greece 2021 reflects the work we endeavor to undertake here at the University Center for International Studies. Community engagement, whether it be local or global, is fundamental when creating a global perspective. UC's endeavors to make the global perspective, one that is imperative to tackle the world's greatest challenges, a cornerstone in the education of the next generation. Through international collaborations and partnerships like the one here tonight that both commemorates a global effort 200 years ago and celebrates immigrant groups today, we can create meaningful global engagement. At the local level with the Greek diaspora in Pittsburgh and the regional organizations, and reaching to an international level with Mayor Maris, Mr. Athanasios Averinos, and all those joining from Greece. For all of us here, descendants of French, British, Russian, Greek immigrants, and other newer immigrants like myself, tonight is a reminder of what we have in common. Our desire to work for a better future, not just for Pittsburgh or Pioneer, but for the world. Tonight, we honor the myriad of experiences and lives of all immigrants that create bridges between the past and present and between nations. But whether in the United States or in Greece, 200 years ago or today, we share common goals and responsibilities based on our collective values of human dignity. Thank you for inviting me to participate in tonight's event. It is a true honor.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, even though the London Protocol of 1830 essentially gave Greece her independence as a sovereign nation, most of Athens remained under Ottoman Turkish control and would remain so until the 31st of March 1833. Truth be told, the Porte was willing to cede the region to the Greeks upon financial compensation by Greece to the Porte to purchase the land and the homes owned by Ottoman Turks in the region, Athens and Greater Attica. However, the financial state of the new Greek nation was so dire that certainly it was unable to raise the money to purchase the homes and the land. Nevertheless, the Treaty of London of 1832 mandated that Athens be ceded to the Greeks. With the arrival of Otto, the new king of Greece at Nafplio, Athens, Attica, Evia, and Zitounio were finally ceded to Greece in March of 1833, when all the remaining Ottoman forces left the region. Christophoros Nezer was a Bavarian officer who arrived in Greece in 1833 in the expeditionary force that accompanied Prince Otto at the time. In mid-March of the same year, as a lieutenant, he was appointed head of the Athens Guard. On April 1st, together with a Bavarian Major Palagan, he received the keys of the Acropolis from its last Ottoman commandant, Osman Efendi. In his memoirs, Nezer writes, "At noon, we reached the middle of the Attica field. A short distance from the olive grove, the Acropolis was raised, and around it was the city. All of the few houses were low, and many of them were huts made of rubble. The European could not call Athens then a small walled city, a city. At the entrance of Athens, outside the wall, and on two hills on either side of the street, there were a large number of Athenians, including women. The red feathers, and the long and blue tassels, the rich and shining garments, and above all the lively movements of those who had climbed the hill, adorned the image we saw. Everyone was holding olive branches and flowers, shaking and shouting, 'Long live the king! Long live the Bavarians!' As we approached the hills, flowers and twigs were thrown in front and around us, so much so that we had to close our eyes so they wouldn't hit us. There we passed the door of the castle, followed by the cheering Athenians, and after heading to the right, we arrived at Theseo. There he was the high priest, that is, the bishop of Talent, and the priests. They first blessed us and spoke a few words. All this was new and strange to us. The ruins of the temples, the people who cheered us on, the romantic and colorful national costumes. But the weirdest of all we hadn't seen, that was the Turks. Our mission was to receive them from Athens and the Acropolis, and so we were all curious to see them. But our curiosity was still not satisfied because Osman Efendi, the last Turkish guardian of Athens, had already ordered the departure of the Turks of Athens and the other armed men, and only left it to his soldiers and himself to cede the Acropolis to the representative of the new Greek government. For this reason, and only occasionally, did we see any bearded man over the walls of the Acropolis, which further irritated our imagination and curiosity. Nezer continues, when the sun set over the mountains of the Peloponnese, and the full moon rose above Lykavitos, and scattered its dim light in Attica, and in the barren huts of Pride, then I set my bed under my pillows. A pillar piece was my headrest, and a mat for my mattress. Dreaming with open eyes, I was amazed to see Lord Pericles on the Acropolis, Socrates and his disciples, Euripides, Demosthenes, and so many other men and women in glorious Greece, traveling from under the pillars of my eyes. The soldiers, sitting on shredded marbles, they said 1,000 things about their homeland. But already my tired eyelids and the owl's crotches, which still rattled my ears, convinced me that I was lying on classical land. The cold morning breeze woke me up very early, and before the sun was drawing its chariot over Imitos. Opening my eyes, I saw the magnificent Parthenon, with the tall pillars of the facade and the piles of large and small pieces of marble that covered the entire Acropolis, and gave me a real miracle how these columns could escape all the time. And that very day, a very early morning, came to me on the Acropolis a Chiotian sailor named Captain Dimitris, whose little sea vessel was anchored in Piraeus. He was accompanied by his son and carried a blue flag with white belts and a cross in the middle with a pole. At the urging of his son, and for the first time ever in history, Nezer hoisted this makeshift blue and white flag of a reborn nation, of Prometheus Resurrected, on the ancient and magnificent Parthenon.